next time they shine your light in the sky, don't go to it. The bat is dead. Bury it. Consider this mercy.
Tell me. Do you bleed? You will.
And welcome to the 50th episode of my Classic Comic Talks. And we'll be featuring a couple of things like comic review of Batman, Judge Dredd, Judgment of Gotham, the JLA New World Order story arc, plus the trailer review reaction for Joker, Folie, Deux, and well, you know what's coming next week? Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. So what? So I'll be featuring my Batman Judge Dredd Judgment in Gotham review. And let's share the screen. So we have Batman Judge Dredd Judgment on Gotham. This was published on February 1992. This was written by Alan Grant and John Wagner and beautifully drawn and painted by Simon Bisley. He did triple duty, penciler, inker, colors, airbrush, and stuff. Right. Letters is Todd Klein, and editors Steve McManus and Dennis O'Neill. So the story goes, Judge Dredd makes a dimensional jump to Gotham City. Judge Death actually makes a dimensional jump to Gotham, murdering two lovers and a police officer. Batman defeats Death, who flees in spirit form. Among the remains of his host body, Batman finds a dimensional jump belt that he accidentally activates, transporting him to Mega City 1, where he is confronted by Mean Machine Angel. As Mean Machine attacks Batman, they are both confronted by Judge Dredd. Mean Machine flees to Gotham using the belt, then wanders into the city looking for Judge Death. In Mega City 1, Dredd arrests Batman for possession of illegal weapons. Those are the contents of the utility belt, and accuses him of vigilantism. Batman is frustrated at his inability to explain himself to Dredd until the telepath Judge Anderson scans Batman's mind to ensure that Death is not hiding in his brain, and explains Death's nature and motives to Batman. Batman insists on returning to Gotham immediately, and Dredd insists on Batman serving a 20-year sentence for his crime. First, what a morose Dredd is. Batman breaks his bonds and punches Dredd to the floor before being subdued by several other judges. Anderson breaks Batman out of custody and drives him to a functioning dimensional gate. Dredd calls for them to be stopped, and then when this fails, follows them in Gotham. So in Gotham, the Scarecrow and his henchman Benny break into the city morgue to steal the raw materials for hallucinogenic fear toxin. promise a feast of fear. In exchange, the Scarecrow becomes partners with Judge Death. After killing Benny, Death attempts to turn on Scarecrow, who stops him with a dose of his fear toxin. So Death's vision is cute fluffy bunnies and My Little Ponies. And that's humorous, right? Alan Grant and John Wagner are witty writers. Directs him to a heavy metal concert featuring a band called Living Death. Meanwhile, Mean Machine demolishes a bar and is directed to the same concert. As Death slaughters the heavy metal band, Batman, Anderson, and Dredd appeared. In the battle that follows, Dredd is on the verge of killing. Death is on the verge of killing Dredd when Batman uses a batarang to destroy his physical body while Anderson imprisons his spirit in her mind. Mean Machine, stuck in a berserk frenzy that demolishes the stage, is subdued after a pinpoint shot from Dredd destroys the mood controlling dial on his head. Scarecrow is likewise captured. Dredd prepares to take Anderson and Mean Machine back to Mega City 1 and insists that Batman come along to complete his sentence. They're close to blows when Anderson persuades Dredd to drop the charges against Batman, especially since she warns that Death must be delivered to proper containment before he successfully breaks free of her mind. As they depart, Dredd admits that Batman is a bit of a top guy, implying some respect. Yeah. Of course, they have Batman and Judge Dredd. Supporting judges is Judge Anderson and Judge Hogenstein. The antagonist is, of course, Judge Dead, uh, Scarecrow, Mean Machine Angel, and Benny. So a couple of characters appeared as illusions: Catwoman, Clayface, Joe Chill, Joker, Killer Croc, Martha Wayne, Penguin, Robin, Thomas Wayne. So this is the first one of the Batman and Judge Dredd crossovers. And well, this is cool. I remember reading this for the first time and showing this to my friend at the office. They were really impressed. Look at that interior art. Judge Depp screening from Cute Things. What a maruse. Anyway, all right. That was that's Batman Judge Dredd, Judgment on Gotham. Next is feature for me is another book. This is JLA, New World Order. This was done by Grant Morrison, Howard Porter, and John Dell. Morrison's the writer, Porter's the penciler, John Dell's the inker, Pat Garrahy is the colorist, and Ken Lopez was the letterer. This was, of course, edited by Bob Cahan. So this features Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Wally West's Flash, Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern, Aquaman, and the Martian Manhunter. And let's share the screen. JLA New World Order. This was published in 19 January 1997 to issue 1 was in January, and issue 4 was in April, up to April 1997. So JLA New World Order was a 4-issue story arc, the inaugural event of the 1997 ongoing JLA title. The story was written by Grant Morrison, illustrated by uh, Howard Porter and John Dell, colors by Pat Garahy and Heroic Age, with Ken Lopez as letterer. The story was originally edited by Ruben Diaz. All 4 issues chronicling the event were collected in the trade paperback form in 1997 and in a hardcover edition in 2008. The story arc is significant for not only being the first major story for a new title, but also for regrouping the Justice League of America, known only as JLA now, with a familiar and popular team roster. It is the first time that heavy hitters such as Aquaman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Wonder Woman have all been together on one team since the mid 1980s. The series also introduced the concept of the White Martians, an aggressive, more predatory race of Martians dramatically different from the more peaceful Green Martians of past stories. In New World Order, a group of white Martians band together as a team of Fox heroes known as the Hyper Clan. White Martians proved to be formidable adversaries, and they make return appearances in future issues of JLA, as well as the Martian Manhunter Volume 2, Number 3. New World Order also introduces the Justice League Watchtower and Zor, future headquarters of Martian Manhunter. This is the storyline is followed by Morrison's second arc, American Dreams. So, a team of super galactic, uh, a team of galactic super beings calling themselves the Hype Clan came to the planet Earth and made a showy spectacle of themselves at the National Mall. Introducing themselves to the world, they told the tale of how their home world has been decimated by ecological irresponsibility, and now they pledged themselves towards preventing the same catastrophes from happening to other planets. They announced that they were uh, to heal the world. Wow, what a big. The general populace of Earth immediately took a liking to the Hyper Clan, but Earth's superhero population were dubious of their intentions. The Hyper Clan gained mass respect when they pulled their talents towards terraforming the Sahara Desert, turning the arid barren wasteland into a virtual paradise. Superman went on record expressing his concerns over these demonstrations, citing that there's no way one could determine the long-term geological or social ramifications of such a massive change to the environment. Despite the legitimacy of the Man of Steel's concern, most people thought that he was just sour grapes, jealous of the HyperClan's goal to improve life rather than simply slugging it out with supervillains. The Hyper Clan also used their abilities to serve as law enforcement, catching dangerous criminals and executing them. Public support for their actions increased exponentially. Superman and his colleagues in the JLA soon discovered, however, that there was more to the Hyper Clan than what they seemed. They suspected a connection between the Hyper Clan and an unidentified and unidentified group of invaders who came from out of nowhere and destroyed the Justice League's previous satellite headquarters. This incident resulted in the disbanding of the previous league and the apparent death of a team member, Metamorpho. The Hyper Clan, meanwhile, continued to maintain a foothold on the planet Earth. They erected a massive watchtower, a citadel all across the globe, and headquarters themselves at a fortress in Antarctica named Zoanzor. The Justice League soon learned that the Hyper Clan were not the benevolent beings they pretended to be and were using mind control technology to turn public opinion against the League, thus embracing the Hyper Clan as Earth's preeminent champions. It wasn't long before the League and the Hyper Clan came to blows. Superman fought against team leader Protex. Wonder Woman and Aquaman fought against the female Hyperclan members Primate and Tronix. The Flash and Green Lantern had their hands full with Centurion and Super Speedster Zoom, while Martian Manhunter swapped blows with the armored Armech. Batman concentrated his efforts to the Wraith-like Immortal, but lost the initial round when Immortal destroyed his Batplane. In total, the Hyperclan scored a decisive victory over the League. Protex brought all the captured members. Panther has been missing in action, and Batman was presumed dead. Protex placed the League members inside of an ancient torture device called the Flower of Wrath. Was soon forthcoming. Batman had survived the crash of the Batplane and had infiltrated Zoan-Zor. Creeping about the lower levels of the Citadel, he discovered the truth about the Martians. As soon as such, Batman knew that they were valuable knowledge. He began conducting surgical strikes against the team, taking them down one at a time. The Martian Manhunter, meanwhile, had disguised himself as Hyperclan member Armech and was waiting for the opportune moment to strike. When the imprisoned Superman learned for himself that his capture were Martians, he was able to break free of his bonds and fight back. The Martian Manhunter switched back into his normal form and deactivated the Flower of Wrath, freeing the rest of his teammates. The JLA and the Hyper Clan had their final battle in the frozen wasteland surrounding Zoan-Zor. They succeeded in defeating them, but quickly became aware of an even more pressing concern. Prior to their battle, Protex had sent a signal to a Martian invasion fleet waiting to attack Earth from a hyperspace pocket called the Still Zone. The Martians began striking at major population centers, and the people of Earth stood little chance against them. Back at Zone Zor, Superman broadcast a global message telling the world about the Martians and their vulnerability to fire. As nearly everyone has access to some kind of flammable accelerant, it wasn't long before the people were able to repel the Martian forces. Yeah. With the crisis passed, the League was tasked with the responsibility of what to do with the Hyper Clan. The Martian Manhunter physically lobotomized the team members, forcing them to assume mundane humanoid forms, forged with new identities and no knowledge of their Martian heritage. They were sent out into the world to join the human race. So the titles of each issues are sci-fi movies. Like issue 1 is Them, issue 2 is The Day the Earth Stood Still, Issue 3 is War of the Worlds, and issue 4 is Invaders from Mars. Yeah, this was great. This was great. This book is great. Uh, we do have Batman defeating the White Martians all by himself. Yeah, right? Because he's Batman. Take that. All right. And that's it for this one. And now we will feature Joker Folie official teaser trailer. Let's share the screen, share the sound. Okay, and we're on.
Let's go, boys. It's showtime. Wakey, wakey.
You see Joaquin Phoenix.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
Arthur Fleck. The background music is what the world needs, is love.
We
Has
use
a
music to make us
glimpse of,
whole,
Lady Gaga.
to balance the fractures within ourselves.
We use music to balance ourselves.
I'm nobody.
Makes sense, right?
I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
Looks good. He's gonna be a musical.
Let's get out of here.
What the world needs now is a love
This
sweet
year.
love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world
Phoenix.
needs
Gaga.
sweet love.
Tell us, what's changed? We're not alone anymore.
It's a love story. Mad love.
That's what we should be talking about.
Looks good.
I want to see the real you.
Joker. Folie October 2014. 2024. My mistake. Written by Scott Silver and Todd Phillips. Directed by Todd Phillips. Wow. That was good. That was great. And I want to see this. I did quite enjoy the first Joker movie of Joaquin Phoenix, but it was really dark and it was not comedic of sort, just like what DC is doing currently, unlike anything DC has ever produced in the past. And now I'm eager and waiting for the sequel to happen. And now, in honor of the April 19th showing of Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver, we'll take a peek again at the trailer And let's share the screen. Share the sound. And let's go. You see, you can't get over this. We have Cora blasting her way through the King's gaze.
Their nightmare is you and I fighting
It's Jimmy.
together.
It's
You
Jimmy,
must know.
man.
You cannot win.
This is All Out War from Netflix.
You're all here. Because there
This
is
is a war
nothing to
movie.
return to. Dark days lie ahead of us all.
Atticus Noble
We will teach you how to fight.
has risen.
That's impressive.
From Zack Snyder.
The Scargivers among them. Those this village holds most dear. I shall destroy them.
This is gonna be epic.
I have no choice but to fight.
So Jimmy doing his Superman thingy. On April 19th.
The Scargiver herself. Are you truly prepared to allow this to continue in your name?
I'm sorry. I won't allow this place to die for me.
This looks exciting, awesome, epic. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. On April 19. Yes, next week. We'll get to see The Scargiver. And man, I'm excited for this. Only a few days left before we see this. And I hope you guys are subscribed to Netflix. Well, I am. So go, Rebels. Deactivated.